Okay, Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Transformational Storytellers show. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that is so timely and is so essential and so needed. And I have an amazing guest and dear friend. I adore her, and so will you. I promise you. I promise you that you will love her as much as I do. Her name is Zoe-Ann Bartlett, or Zoe, as we call her.
Yes.
She is the founder of Intentional Table. She's an international speaker featured on TEDx and the United Nations. And she's also a Presidential Lifetime Achievement recipient. And today we're going to talk about how she brings her vision and perspective to collaborate with leaders who give voice to stories that ignite positive change one table at a time. Hello, Zoe.
Hello, it's so fantastic to be here and to talk with you and hopefully just strike a chord with your audience.
Absolutely. I mean, what's not to love about you and the message that you bring? I am sure that you not only your topic and your message, but also your energy is going to bless many people today. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, we're going to start with storytelling because that's what this show is all about, and also such a central piece to your work. So, would you please share your story with our audience today?
Oh gosh, yes. There's so many stories I want to share, actually.
Yeah,
Um, can I start with a quote?
you can start. Yes, please start with whatever you want.
Um, and if you hear nails clicking in the back, that's my dog, and I apologize. He likes to see what I'm doing.
I
Um,
love it.
so I believe the only place big enough to hold our humanity is the table. So with that, I have a beautiful story to share, and it's how I transitioned into this work from more of a corporate background. And that is that both of my parents died a decade and a half ago. And as I was the executor for their will, and we grew up in a happy home. It wasn't perfect. We didn't have a lot of money, but my mom was the center of the universe in terms of the kitchen, and our kitchen table actually was it was all in sort of one space growing up. And so uh, after here I am in this house and I'm closing down as the executor, and most things are gone around me. So I just took a minute and I sat in my chair at that dining room table, that kitchen table that I had sat in my whole life. We never changed furniture, it was the same one. And it was this round maple table. It was honey colored. And I looked around, and there were the cigarette burns from my grandmother who lived with us, who was 90 years old and couldn't see what she was doing and so she would drop her ashes. And then there was the time that my mom accidentally sprayed oven cleaner instead of furniture polish. So the pot marks on the table showed. And it was as though I was sitting there with their spirits, just reflecting on the amount of memories made at that table, the laughter, the tears, the planning, the life's moments. And at that moment, I just thought if tables could talk, they would tell the stories of our lives. And so that began the work that I'm doing now with Intentional Table.
Oh, so many stories.
So many stories.
Yeah. And I think, what resonates a lot for me is because each story has an emotional color
Mm,
and an emotional reaction. And so it's not just stories and it's moments
yeah,
of our lives that make up who we are
that's right.
and and how we feel. And so I'm really grateful for you sharing that story. I know that the love you feel for your parents and the honor and the reverence that brings with it is really vulnerable for you, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor. I feel very privileged to be able to share that. And, as I have done this work for the past 15 years, when I tell that story, inevitably, and I'm speaking to another person, it will spark something for them. Oh, I remember the time when, the dog ate the Thanksgiving turkey, or whatever it was, or I remember my table because that's where I taught my daughter how to write, and the pencil marks were ingrained into the table, or the stories just go on and on and on. And so I started collecting these stories
I love that. Oh my goodness, that's so powerful. And why do you think it's important to tell our stories, to share them with others?
because I think that storytelling is the one relatable quality that all humanity has right now, today. We all have a story to share.
I
It's
love
a powerful reflection of who
that.
we are, what our experiences were, and it's a way to relate to other people.
Yeah. And I know that you've been collecting all of these stories
Mhm.
about tables and what they mean and what they do because it is a tool.
It is.
But when did you start to share your story and why?
I think it was an unconscious act at first. It
Mhm.
was just something that was part of me. And the funny thing is about, whatever your experience is, sort of growing up and into adulthood, you don't realize that necessarily anybody else's story is different than your own. And so when I started telling my story, people would say, "Oh, that's not my experience," or "I have something to share."
Yeah,
And so it became this fascinating process for me, whereby I started learning that the simple act of gathering around the table is an act of power. It's an act of love. It's an act of just humanity. And and I just really wanted to delve into that and get to know what other people's experiences are. And so I have just amassed a collection of just wonderful, powerful stories that can change our perspective.
I love that. Yeah, wonderful. And you shared a story in the Gifts of Pain book. How was that for you?
Hmm. The Gifts of Pain book, volume 4, chapter
There it
13,
is.
page 39. um,
I love that.
yeah. Yeah. 300 words, and not one more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That was a process that what I learned is that we have so much to say, and sometimes the message can get lost when we use too many words.
Mm,
And and that each of our experiences can really, if distilled down and focused on other, can help someone else.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, focus on others. I love that quote from Ken Blanchard that says that business is like tennis, that if you serve, you win.
Hmm.
And
Oh, that's great.
and
Yeah.
that's what I was reminded of when you said that. When we focus on others, we definitely feel not only the transformation in others, but also the transformation happening in ourselves when we are impact centered, and it feels like a win. It's a double win.
It
Uh, in,
is.
in tennis, there's someone who loses, right? There's a losing losing party, but in service there isn't. So that is truly powerful that you shared it that way. So I want to get into your work, and you've mentioned about your collection of stories. I've had the privilege of uh, hearing some of those stories, and also in your TEDx talk and in your United Nations talk and in your Fem Power book, you give us a little glimpse of those stories.
Mm.
So everyone, this information is going to be in the show notes so that you can see it. But can you tell us a little bit of what you do with those stories, and how they shape your work with leaders and what that looks like? So if someone is listening right now, wants to partner with you
Yeah.
to facilitate those experiences, what is that like?
Yeah. Well, in this, the Fem Power book, I have all my books here today, all three of them. Yes.
I
So I have
love
the Fem
that.
Power book, which was the culmination of a group of women who spoke at the United Nations, and as the stories were unbelievably transformational, to all of us, not only our own story, but everything that we heard there and learned. It was a very, very powerful experience. And so what I've done is I've taken all the collection of the work that I've done and continue to do every single day as I look for the stories, is to put them in a framework. And I found that really, inevitably, almost all stories fit into the table framework. And that table framework is really focused on 5 key points. And those are teaching moments that inspire positive action. And so there's a slew of stories that go with those. There's advocating for connection. There's breaking boundaries. And of course, there's love, and there's engaging ourselves and others. And so each one of the stories fits in that. And so as I work through this, I categorize those stories into one of those pieces and then share those insights learned from those experiences for other people. And then I have created a body of work whereby we sit and really just get quiet and talk to each other. And sometimes that's really a hard thing to do when you don't know what to ask. So I've developed some cards that are facilitation of conversations. And and do you have your cards, Elena? Yeah.
Do you see me looking? Yeah, I'm like, let me find them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're always near me. I Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Need to open them. Yes, I love your cards. They are so amazing and so pretty.
Thank you.
Trying to get them out of the
The
little
little bag. Yeah.
yeah.
You
The
have a prototype version, I believe.
Yes, they are so pretty. So
I subsequently made some bigger cards um, that are, Yay.
Yay. Cheers.
Cheers. Yes. Cheers. Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. So each one of these stories is told in a way that really is in service of the listener. So we tell the story through using the story method that you've created, and and then people are able to see the powerful insight. And then because it fits into the framework that I've created, then it gives people an opportunity to really think about what that means to them and how stories in their own lives might be able to be brought to life.
I love that.
Mm.
And so if there's someone out there who's maybe wanting to engage their corporate team or maybe has an event and wants to
Yeah.
enhance the event experience, how do you work with them?
They're welcome to reach out to me through my website, intentionaltable.com, and happy to give contact information. So I have speaking, I've done events. I'm hoping to work with some key brands to bring these stories to life. My ultimate goal is to be able to bring these stories to life through film and to create a documentary and or a documentary series so that these stories can be told in a way that just does them service. And if anyone has a story they'd like to contribute, then I welcome them to reach out as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm.
That's powerful. And why do you think it's essential to bring this work into the world and into groups and into
Yeah.
events?
I think we live in a very divisive time, perhaps the most divisive in most of our lifetimes. And I think that there are, we are so divided that I believe that coming to the table and just being able to see the essence of a person in their humanity and asking questions that are probably different than any other questions they might be able to think allows us to see those threads of humanity and really come find our points and our bridges of connection because we all have those. We're human beings. We're walking the earth. We have two legs, we have two eyes, we have two ears. There are some commonalities. And I think right now, um, is my work is to give people a pathway forward to where we can find those touch points.
I like that. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think many people don't have two eyes and two ears and all of that, but
That's
I
true.
I
Yeah.
know I know what you mean because we are all having the same human experience and I think that one of the things that I love about your work is that it is vulnerable, that it evokes vulnerability. I always say that pain is the common thread of humanity. And
Mhm.
so in that sharing, there's always pain that's going to come out. There's
Mhm.
always struggle, there's always grief, loss, just like you shared before. And
Yeah.
so we live in a society that shies away from that.
Yeah.
Uh, and is this something that you know how to navigate? Because I know a lot of people don't want those vulnerable conversations because of the pain, not only that can come out in the story, but also that it can kind of cause in
Mhm.
around the table. So how do you handle that and how do you manage it?
Yeah. So my answer to that is giving space
Mm,
and just allowing the person to be. And and that is in this day and time a very difficult thing for people to do, I think, because not necessarily comfortable with quiet
Mm,
and just holding space because we live in an information, we're just bombarded with messages all the time. And so there's the holding space and then just allowing people to be. And what that does is it allows for the vulnerability to show up in not only the person telling the story, but for the people to feel the presence of that and to just honor that where they are.
I love it. And I have been in an intentional table before, so I know that you are so masterful at holding that space. And it is a very unique experience. It is not your typical dinner table. So I definitely urge and encourage and invite everyone who's watching or listening today to consider these experiences because they are really, truly transformational and sacred. And thank you so much for the work that you do. It is so powerful. And as I said in the beginning of the show, I do agree that it is very needed at this time. And even though we are experiencing so much division and conflict in the world, that it is possible to bring us together at the table and that you have found a beautiful way
Thank
to
you.
counter that. So thank you
Thank you.
so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
I don't think it is that people have to agree. They, but it is such a powerful tool to be able to listen intentionally.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if someone were to participate in an intentional table, what would be like one or two or three tips that you could give us to prepare for an intentional table or to have more intentional tables in our life?
Oh, that's a great question. So one, um, set down devices and turn off television.
Mm,
And just really focus on the people that you have invited to be in your space. That could be one person. It's true for just yourself too. Just to be with yourself, right? Without scrolling, without, distractions of some type. And so I think that's the first thing. Um, and probably one of the most important because distractions. Have you ever been in a restaurant and you see a table of six or eight and literally everyone has their phone and their heads are looking down? It fascinates me as someone who studies tables. And so I think, gosh, no wonder why we're divisive and not listening to people. I read a statistic yesterday, and I apologize for not quoting my source because I can't remember which source I read it from, but I could get it for you. Is that 50% of people in our country, in the United States, get their news not from news media, but from social media. That was astounding to me
yeah.
because those feeds are filled with what like things. And so, it's a process of just putting it away, looking someone in the eye and just connecting with them for their humanity. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is not to worry about what you serve. It could be tea and crackers or tea and nuts. It is just the process of having someone order a pizza and just share it, but just enjoy the people that you want. Ask a question that you just don't know the answer to. And then keep your sense of humor. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I I love that. I was thinking about my own, habits, and that's how I consume the news too, is through social media. I've been using Twitter as my news source probably for the past 10 years or more, maybe 15. So yeah, absolutely. And it's X now, but you know,
Yes. Yeah.
right? But I love that. So to recap, turn off the TV and any other devices, the
Yeah.
electronics. And then you said don't worry about what is served. So basically gather
Yeah.
without having to have a checklist of what
Right.
is happening. And then the third one is I think my favorite, because laughter is being said to be a medicine, right? And
Yes. Yeah.
so I think it's also an antidote because one of my mantras is to be entertained when I feel like being offended.
Mm.
And so I live by that. Yeah, and I usually, when something is kind of zingy to me, I
Mm.
try to ask myself, what's funny about that?
Yeah, I love that. I have a little bit different way, but similar in the sense that, when I find myself tweaked, I really just kind of take a deep breath and then I try to get curious. Huh?
Yeah,
Why did they say that? What's meant by that? What's their experience behind that, etc. So, yeah,
yeah. See, that's why I love you.
that
Yeah, I mean, it is so easy to take things personally and to kind of cause an unnecessary commotion within ourselves.
yeah.
So it's good to honor our experience while honoring somebody else's uh, perspective and experience as well. So I really love what you just said.
Thank you.
Well, we are at the top of the hour, so I would love to talk to you all day, as you
I know
know.
this went so
Have-
quickly.
Yeah,
I could.
we have actually talked all day without stop. So that's why I'm leaving all of the things, all of the links in the show notes so that you can make sure to contact Zoe at Intentional Table and visit her at intentionaltable.com. But what is one thing that you could leave with our audience today? How can they start the journey toward intentional tables?
Hmm. How can you start the journey? Awareness. Like if you do one thing, do it with intention.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do one thing, do it with
Yeah.
intention. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Zoe. You are incredible. I'm so grateful for all of your wisdom. Is there anything else that you didn't share that you want to share?
Oh gosh, we could be here another 2 hours. If that was the case, I want to tell you stories. As you know, I'll leave you with, I am working on the book, Intentional Table, and it's a compilation, fit into the framework of all the stories that I've been working on this last year. And it's going to be magnificent. And the other day I had an experience, and I think, on the movies, there's sometimes outtakes at the end.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's going to be outtakes called unintentional tables of humorous things or things that you're not proud of. I have, of course, have some of those too. So I'll leave
Yeah.
you with that. My book is coming, it's in the works, and I'm excited to share that with your audience.
That's amazing. I can't wait for that book. I know it's going to be truly transformational, like everything that you do in the world. I am so grateful to know you, to have experienced your work, to actively, be your supporter, because I do believe in the power of tables. I do believe in your gift to bring people together at the table and prepare and intentionally guide people at the table to bring connection, bring unity, bring peace. And isn't that what we need, not only in the world at large, but we can bring it to our small spaces and to our different places of gathering, because what you say, and I learned from you, is that an intentional table doesn't even need a table.
That's right. That's exactly right. And change starts with our own hearts.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank
And thank
you.
you,
Thank you
everyone.
for having me. It was
Absolutely.
wonderful to see you and spend time with you.
Same with you. Every single time, it's like Christmas or like a holiday for those. Okay, well, thank you
Okay.
everyone
Okay.
for being once again at the Transformational Storyteller Show. And I love you.
Love
Mwah.
you. Mwah.
Bye.